mood has sure taken a turn. And it wasn't exactly cheery to begin with. Miss Hall, have you composed yourself? As much as anybody can, given the circumstances, perhaps. Yes. What you did, no matter the reason, was unforgivable. Yes, I know. However, you committed this crime in order to prove Mr. Master's innocence. So at the bare minimum, I suppose I can plausibly respect that. I don't know. If the true culprit is someone else, we have a duty to reinvestigate. Yeah, you would say that. No false evidence from the IS-7 incident remains in the official case files. Courtney, it's been like at least half a decade since Von Karma's gone to prison. I was under the impression that everybody was already aware of the fact that he was a lying, conniving, cheating son of a something that was always constantly doing horrible things behind the scenes. Wouldn't it be a massively safe assumption to believe that in a case as fishy and weird as this one, he would have done the same? I'm just saying, it wouldn't be much of a logical leap. Moreover, there is no evidence to lead credence to Miss Hall's testimony. We should first arrest Miss Hall as the culprit behind today's incident. We cannot be certain that all the case files are accurate. After all, the prosecutor in the case has a history of forging evidence.
Overruled!
Overruled nothing, it's a fact! Are you suggesting that the PIC overlooked such a Oh, I'm sorry? Are you in fact unaware? Is this breaking news to you? Wow, the PIC are incredibly incompetent. It's none of my concern. The truth is that evidence was falsified. And the fact that Dover's body from 18 years ago was just discovered proves it. Yeah, that's what I friggin' thought. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I can see remnants of Prosecutor Von Karma within you. Oh, shut up, it's just a cravat. What did you say? You tried to deceive the PIC and fabricate the truth. Yes, I can totally see how you would gather that assumption from everything you've seen from me up to this point. Let me inform you of or rather, the PIC's logic. Sure, I've yet to run across a piece of logic that Edgeworth wasn't able to rip in half. Go for it. I acknowledge that Prosecutor Von Karma fabricated the information about the body. Okay, then I win. Thank you. However, he successfully convicted Mr. Master as an accomplice. So, get over it, I guess. I believe that the true culprit was Miss Curator herself. She even attempted to murder Mr. Gustavia today in order to pin the blame on him. Well, why on earth would she do that? That doesn't even make any sense. The statute of limitations is already up. Why would she need to go through the trouble of pinning the blame on somebody 18 years after the fact? That's idiotic. Is that really what the PIC believes? Yeah, sure, why not? Just waiting for the plot twist where she has absolutely nothing to do with the PIC and she's just a random lady who owns a gavel. Yes, every word I utter is for the sake of law and order. Would explain why the best is so terrible. Not a great joke, but one I'm sticking with. It seems she intends to hide the truth for the sake of the PIC. At this rate, neither Mr. Master nor Miss Hall will be saved. We ain't having any of that mess. Alright, well, I already know where I would like to start poking and prodding at least a little bit. Alright, cool. These two things are annoying to me, but alright, let's just continue. Yeah, alright, so she attempted to murder Mr. Gustavia. You want to explain to me why on earth anybody would do that, given the circumstances? She wanted to pin the crime on somebody, why choose Mr. Gustavia? Perhaps Mr. Gustavia suspected Miss Hall was the criminal, as he attempted to confirm whether or not the Gemini sculpture was genuine. He was caught in a trap meant to silence him forever. No! Can you prove that theory? Mr. Gustavia is currently teetering on the brink of death. There's probably no way to prove it unless he regains consciousness, so you're really banking on the idea that he just isn't going to be doing that. In other words, there is nothing we can do for now, so get over it. That can't be true. There must still be something we can do. You still don't get it, do you? Allow me to give you a clearer explanation. We already have ample evidence for both the IS-7 incident and today's poison gas incident. There is no need to investigate any further. No! No, 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 no. Hang on. There's something we still need to look into. You can't just, yeah. What about this? You can't tell me this isn't worth looking into ASAP. Come on. There's still one piece of evidence from the IS-7 incident that remains unsettled. Take a look at this. This is the forensics results from the Gemini sculpture that melted in the Winter Palace. According to the results of the analysis, traces of someone's blood were found. Who does this blood belong to? Until we know the answer, this case is still open. Ha-ha! Technicality! There was blood mixed in with the remains of the Gemini sculpture? I heard nothing of this from Sebastian. Courtney, if you honestly expected him to tell you that, let alone remember that he even learned that, you're just as incompetent as he is. This was a report from Detective Gumshoe. I had planned to tell Mr. DeBest myself. Yeah, I know he didn't know, but I still wanted to take a shot at him anyway. It's fun! So even though you had no investigative authority, you still did as you please. I shall report everything that transpired today to the PIC. Dear God, you really just got that one trick, don't you? Good Lord, get another bit. I will not avert my eyes from the truth, nor shall I overlook the mistakes of the past. If you wish to report my actions to the PIC, be my guest. But in exchange, I want you to let me investigate this case to the very end. Well, goddamn, that's badass. It is not my place to decide such things. I must ask that you check with Sebastian regarding this matter, because for some reason he matters. Hey! Good news, you guys! Oh, hey! That's gonna help. Thanks to our early detection, Mr. Gustavia's life was saved. Mr. Gustavia? So, he's alive. Alive and guilty of murder. Would you be the ones who saved my life? Hey, Mr. Gustavia. You are Sir Assistant, are you not? You've grown so big. This time, this one is your assistant then? No, I He's an assistant candidate, and Gregory Edgeworth's son. I am Miles Edgeworth, a prosecutor. What a twist of fate. I am in your debt. It is thanks to you that I have completely recovered. There's no need for thanks. Not after what I'm about to tell you. Since you're alive, we can reach the truth behind the incident 18 years ago. And what do you speak of? Well, the fact that you're a murderer, mostly. While you were unconscious, the truth has started to come to light. You may be Isaac Dover's murderer. Yep. All right, that's your immediate response, huh? That explains a lot. What? Really? Miss Hall was looking for the criminal behind the events of 18 years ago. That's why she set up the poison gas in the Pisces case. Mr. Gustavia, the events of this incident 18 years ago. Tell us what really happened. So, you wish to remain silent? That's basically paramount to admitting guilt at this point. Nah, I think he's just meditating. He can sleep standing up? What a useful skill to have. Meditation is different from sleeping, though. I mean, that's what they say, but we don't know. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us what you did 18 years ago. I'm the criminal because I fell for the trap? That's not a very funny joke. I'm a victim, not a culprit. Mr. Gustavia, it has not yet been made clear whether or not you are the criminal. This is only their baseless speculation. I mean, sure, granted, they have many bases to which to stand on, but at the same time, I'm going to say they don't. Do not concern yourself with the drivel of a prosecutor without jurisdiction. At least there's one person here who understands that I want to get away with murder. My name is Justine Courtney. I am a judge, as if my incredibly on-the-nose name didn't give that away. If you would like, I would be happy to assist you. Let us show Prosecutor Edgeworth the truth of 18 years ago. Understood. I shall prove my innocence to you, Sir Prosecutor. Objection! Judge Courtney. Is that your answer? Do you intend to bury the truth of the IS-7 incident before it can be brought to light? Yes. I merely believe in the judgments of the goddess of law, regardless of how extraordinarily flawed they've inevitably been proven to be on multiple occasions. Ultimately, those who render judgment are only human. As long as humans control the law, there is no guarantee that every verdict is correct. Edgeworth apparently is an advocate for robots taking over the court system. I'm not sure how I feel about that idea much either. If you're going to help conceal the truth, I will not hold back. I'm looking forward to it. You're looking forward to getting your ass whooped for a third time? All right. Lady Justine, what should I do now? Wait, third? No, second. Yeah, no, it is a second. For some reason, I don't know. I feel like I've been assaulted by this tag team duo in every case, but no, that they weren't even in the first one. You are being suspected because you set off the poison gas. Can you tell us the reason why you opened the Pisces case? Understood. I came to see Sir Dover's works from 18 years ago. I couldn't see good enough, so I opened the case and shoved my head in, as any normal person would do. Also, seahorse on your hand. However, I accidentally entered the museum a half hour before it opened. Miss Hall, there was nobody at the entrance, correct? Since I thought the criminal from 18 years ago might be coming, I had no security guards in place. I didn't even lock the doors. I was very busy with opening preparations, so there was nobody on the first floor. In addition, I locked every palace door aside from the autumn one. I see. This must have been done in order to lure the criminal to the Autumn Palace, which is why he ended up entering the Autumn Palace. It's already suspicious that he snuck into the museum in the first place. Ever so slightly. The gallery should remain silent. No, it shouldn't. Unless you have evidence that can prove his testimony false, I will not allow any objections, even though we're not in court. Gallery? This isn't even a courtroom, Kay. A bastion of sanity in the desert of nonsense. Now then, why did you open the Pisces case? I wish to view Sir Dover's handiwork up close. You must be banned from a lot of museums if that's the way you go about it. The Gemini sculpture. No, it was actually the Pisces, wasn't it? The lid had been frozen shut, so I borrowed a burner to open it like a sane person. And as soon as I opened the lid, poison gas began pouring out. That's quite, convenient testimony. The fact that I don't even have to cross-examine it says a lot. Sounds like a total lie, doesn't it? There are parts of Mr. Gustavia's testimony that I have issues with as well. However, I also don't care. There's no evidence to disprove it. But that's... Would it not make sense for suspicion to fall on Lady Catherine before myself? She may have intended to release the poison gas haphazardly. Objection. I keep forgetting that's your voice. Kate turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She was specifically targeting the person who triggered the trap. She wasn't randomly just trying to murder a bunch of people. Mr. Gustavia, you were her only target. You are willing to accept the words of this criminal as the truth? Considering I think that you're also a criminal? Kinda. Miss Hall must atone for her crimes as much as it depresses me. However, the same could be said for the criminal from 18 years ago. Sir Prosecutor, it seems you wish to suspect me to the bitter end, only because it has to be you. However, I had no reason to murder Sir Dover. Yes, you did. If there is no evidence to suggest that I killed him, you cannot suspect me. Okay, I don't have hard evidence that there's a motive, but come on! Mr. Edgeworth, can't you prove that Mr. Gustavia is the criminal? All we know for sure is that Mr. Gustavia fell victim to the poison gas. No matter how strange his behavior was, it won't prove he committed the murder. But that's... Mr. Shields, is there nothing we can do? Well, if there isn't any evidence, we should try reorganizing the facts. If Mr. Gustavia was the one who killed Mr. Dover, there must have been a motive. Motive. Mr. Gustavia himself is denying that such a motive exists. Alright. It's not easy to take another person's life. 18 years ago, your old man also discussed motive with Prosecutor von Karma. You claim their collaboration is irrelevant? If Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned sour... Thank you, Gregory! Your logic of the past is gonna solve the case in the present. It could serve as a motive for murder. You couldn't talk with Mr. Gustavia 18 years ago, but this time things are different. If we connect everything we've learned so far, the truth might be revealed. Yes, I suppose so. It seems I must re-examine the information from 18 years ago. I must recall all the details that have remained unexplained. So, the gloved finger marks on the picture frame was your doing? No, now she don't wear no gloves. Delicia denied leaving the finger marks on the frame. If they were left by Mr. Gustavia, he may have been trying to view the angel's recipe. I see. Monsieur Master asked me to change the film in the camera. It seemed the film he prepared in advance wasn't enough. There wasn't enough film? It seems the number of photos he took didn't match up with the amount of film remaining. Oh, I getcha. And they're instant, too. So they wouldn't even know if they had anybody... I mean, they'd know there was less film, but nobody would know what the photos were of if they were taken. Well, he told me himself it might have been just a mistake, though. Man, even all of the itsy-bitsy little insignificant lines of dialogue matter. This is a tightly written mystery. The information my father collected 18 years ago was certainly not for naught. If there's no evidence, then I shall use logic to reveal the truth. Watch me break down! Alright, let's see here. Motive for murder. Partnership turning sour. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a pretty solid enough motive. Let's go with that for now. The game seems to agree. Very good. Mr. Gustavia, you collaborated with the victim Isaac Dover to create your desserts, didn't you? It seems you know about my secret. Mr. Shields told me about it. Mr. Dover handled the design while you were in charge of the taste, is that correct? Back then, my training had been insufficient. Seems you worked together through the semifinals, but not during the finals. Why is that? We both wish to compete in the finals against Sir Master on our own merits. Objection! You must have also helped with Isaac Dover's desserts even during the finals. What makes you able to declare something like that? Didn't you tell Prosecutor Von Karma about it yourself 18 years ago? That you cooperated until the day before the finals? The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room are all made of sherbet. Such an amount would most likely need to be left overnight to freeze, which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sherbet in advance the day before. That's right. So you realize Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals. Then why did Mr. Dover not help Mr. Gustavia in return? I don't care, I'm Von Karma. The views of the dead are of no concern to me. Why did Isaac Dover not help you in return? If there's a reason why your partnership with Isaac Dover broke down, that would be a motive for murder! Ha-ha! That could be a possibility. Alright. However, Sir Dover and I ended our partnership peacefully. A peaceful breakup? That's hard to imagine. Not to mention, it's absurd to think that I killed Sir Dover in Mr. Master's room. I couldn't have killed Sir Dover while Sir Master was also there, making his desserts. I suppose that's true. In other words, there's no way I could have committed the murder. That's not true. I suppose that's true. That's not true. Right, I agree with Edgeworth. I'm not dumb. Haha, shifty eyes. There was a moment when Mr. Master was absent from the room. It could prove that it was possible for Mr. Gustavia to commit the murder. Well, I don't know much about the timing of the murder right now, but right now it seems like these two connect pretty clearly. That's my guess. If he had photographed the contents of the angel's recipe, he wouldn't need to steal it. Perhaps Mr. Gustavia used Mr. Master's camera to take the pictures. I mean, especially if he didn't expect himself to win. If he had stolen if he had stolen the actual recipe book, the police would have found out. I see. Pictures, eh? The problem is at the time at which he entered Mr. Master's room. Mr. Gustavia could have moved around freely during the afternoon tea, right? Because it seems both him and Mr. Dover did not participate in the afternoon tea. Oh, yeah! It all matters! My god. If I remember correctly, the only time we can prove that Dover was still alive is... The victim was not seen as he stayed locked up in his room after the contest had begun. The only one who could have unlocked the locked rooms was Jeff Master. Was Master's desserts all that you ate? Actually, no. After the afternoon tea, I also ate Icy's desserts. After the contest began, Isaac Dover was locked up in his room. If we assume he was killed at some point before Delicia snuck into his room, then there is a high chance that he was killed before the afternoon tea was over. That makes sense to me. And there's only two things left for it. Let's friggin' go! Ha-ha! Isaac Dover was alive up until the afternoon tea began. Ergo, that is the only time when Gustavia could have killed Dover. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you satisfied? No, not even remotely. Why would you even think that? Sorry, but I'm far from satisfied. Because I'm finally starting to see the truth behind this case. The music has begun again! Are you saying you have found some evidence to show us the truth? No, there's no need to present any evidence, since we can just have Mr. Gustavia tell us the truth. So this is where you use that, right? Indeed. Mr. Gustavia, there's one thing I want you to tell me. I don't want to. I said, Mr. Gustavia, there's one thing I want you to tell me. What is it? During the finals of the contest, you made your desserts on your own. I wanted to compete for the title of the world's greatest pastry chef on my own merits. If that was truly the case, you would have competed on your own merits from the start. I want you to tell me why it was necessary for you to cooperate with Isaac Dover. I am curious. Oh, and we're doing chess. Ah, crap, we're doing chess. Okay, here we go. During the contest 18 years ago, Mr. Gustavia collaborated with Mr. Dover. I wonder, what made them decide to cooperate in the first place? That's what I need to draw out from him, but... Oh god, that is a lot of pieces. It seems he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. First, I'll ask about why he collaborated with Mr. Dover. The truth has been hidden for 18 years. That ends today! Alright, let's find out, Why did you collaborate with Mr. Dover? Why did you decide to collaborate with Isaac Dover? Sir Dover and I were already acquaintances, even before the contest began. Since he was interested in the contest, we simply decided to enter it together. Joining forces with a sculptor. You weren't confident in your own abilities? You know nothing about me, except for all the things you know. We wanted to make great works together. Couldn't make it on your own. I'm gonna go with wait and see. The silently judging you treatment. Sir Dover's son and my own attended the same elementary school. We all got along well from the start. Really? So you were going to share the title of world's greatest pastry chef together? Oh, great. Okay, well no, just staring at him isn't gonna do anything. I think I actually have to yell at him. As expected, he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. Mr. Dover was a sculptor. I doubt he had any interest in the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. In that case, where did his true goal lie? Indeed, my goal was the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. However, Sir Dover's goal was the grand prize, the angel's recipe. I see. You cooperated because your interests were aligned. And there must have been a reason why your partnership soured. Mr. Prosecutor, I am the victim of a poisoning. You're going to suspect me in this manner. Perhaps I'd better return to the infirmary. Hey, ho, how about no? In that case, you should end things soon. I am not a patient man. Seems he's trying to leave. I can't let that happen. He's still hiding something. Next, I should ask him about his true goal. So he didn't want to be the world's greatest pastry chef. I mean, we kind of figured what with him taking photos of the angel's recipe. I think he just really wanted that thing. I need to keep the pressure on him while being cautious all the time. All right, did you want to appear on piece of cake? What? Did you have another goal besides itself? Let's go with that! I like that one better. Did you have another goal besides the title? The title alone doesn't seem to have much value. How dare the likes of you insult the title of a confectionery artist? My only goal was the title itself. I had no interest in anything else. My dream was to become the world's greatest pastry chef. It would be impossible with your skills. Ooh. No, I don't think insulting him is the right way to go. 18 years ago, I was lacking in design sense. However, things are different now. Oh? Are you saying you have improved at your craft? Exactly! For I have trained at the Republic of Zengfa. I mean, again, I don't think insulting him is the right way to go. Yes. At the time, I also studied Mr. Master's works. I would often watch his show with my son. So, you were studying Mr. Master's work to improve your own skills. If you had his recipes, perhaps it would have been easier for you to become the world's greatest. Perhaps. To a pastry chef, Sir Master's recipes were worth their weight in gold. Interesting, that. Haha! He realizes what he just said. You were interested in his recipes. Yeah, that's what we're doing. If becoming the world's greatest pastry chef was your goal, you should have also been interested in the grand prize, the angel's recipe. Ha ha! The recipes of the world's greatest pastry chef. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't interested. However, I would think that simply being interested would be a problem. I wouldn't think so that simply, yeah, sorry. I wonder about that. The angel's recipe's true nature was not for making desserts, but cures. And all of the contest participants should have been aware of that. Including him, obviously. Looks like I'm getting close. He isn't meditating anymore. Now to slowly but surely drive him into a corner. Oh, good. Is it me or is the time slipping by faster now? Next, I'll ask what he planned to use the recipe book for. Do you know the recipe book's value? Did you intend to make desserts with it? Ah, yeah, that's a good one. Did you intend to win the angel's recipe and use it to make desserts? Of course! If I obtained the angel's recipe, I was going to use it in my training. I hear the angel's recipe was worth a lot of money. I don't know the exact details, but that recipe book was much too valuable to be sold. Oh, back to this. Okay. I think that's a good one, yeah. You seem to know a lot about this. You seem to know quite a lot about the angel's recipe. I don't think that was a bad idea. It was explained to all the contest participants at the beginning of the contest. In that case, you must know about the recipe book's true nature. That it was not a recipe book for desserts at all. Impressive, Sir Prosecutor. So you know the true nature of the angel's recipe. The angel's recipe. Some have called it the ultimate recipe book. It contained formulas for new medicines that were not yet on the market. He knew the recipes were actually formulas for new medicines. This could be a useful clue. Okay, I didn't think this one's gonna be relevant at all, but alright, sure. The angel's recipe. Did you know its true value? Silly question. It contains Sir Master's best dessert recipes. Any pastry chef worth their salt would want it. Looks like that clue will come in handy. Yeah, I guess so. Behold, the power of my horsey! You may have studied design in Zengfa. However, your skills in lying could use more work. You just said earlier that the angel's recipe contained formulas for medicines. Haha, my horse wasn't good enough. You weren't interested in desserts. You wanted the medicine formulas. Oh my god, you keep doing this crap! Alright, did you need a new medicine? I think, yeah, I mean, that would be my best guess. Smug. Now, why would a pastry chef such as yourself be so interested in medicine? Perhaps what you were really after was the information about the new medicine. Hey! Haha! I've underestimated you, Sir Prosecutor. Yes, my goal was more than just the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. At the time, my son was ill. I needed the recipe for the medicine. Your son was ill? Tell me more about that. To protect my son's honor, I can say no more. Judging by the worried look on his face, I must have struck a nerve. Next, I need him to tell me more about his son's illness. Alright. How do we go about doing that? This is it! This will be my final move of the game! What was the name of the illness? What was your son like? Did the recipe book have the only cure? I feel like starting somewhere here makes sense. Ease into it. What kind of person was your son? Ah! My boy! He loved the desserts I made. Did you enter the contest solely for your son? Sir Prosecutor, you could never understand the feelings a father has for his son. I wanted nothing more than to cure my boy's illness. Alright, I mean, I don't want to question his devotion to his kid. That sounds like a good way to get decked. Until the semifinals, my son would always drop by the contest venue to play. Is that so? Wouldn't he get in your way? I doubt you had time to care for your son while you were challenging Mr. Master. That may be so, but I wanted to grant my son's wish. He said he always wanted to be the first to eat my desserts. I think he's in a good spot to answer stuff. Yeah, let's go with this. About your son. If he was so sick, wouldn't it be difficult for him to come and play with you? Oh, hello. My son's illness, it wasn't life-threatening. That might serve as a clue. Oh, okay. Okay, that one, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a coin flip. Did the Angel's recipe have the only cure? Yes. Though the medicine is being sold everywhere now, at the time, the recipe book was my one and only option. That's why I continued making my desserts without joining the others for tea time. So you weren't interested in what Mr. Master was making? You sure seemed confident in your chances of winning. Couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the other contestants' desserts. But you, no, you had interest though. Nah, we ain't doing that. You just said earlier that you studied Mr. Master's works. In addition, if your goal was to win the contest in order to get the medicine formula, you must have been curious about the other contestants' entries as well. Otherwise, you would have had no chance at winning. There was time to sample the other desserts during the contest, but none of their entries had any flavor. So I didn't want to eat any of it. Really? I suspect I may have been a bit nervous as well. So, everything he ate tasted flavorless? Hello. This could be a useful clue. Oh, we're actually walking down all these things. All right, sure. What was the name of the illness? I guess that's what we're going for now. What was the name of your son's illness? Mr. Prosecutor, how insensitive of you. My son was seriously ill. I will not be discussing this with the likes of you. Looks like that clue will come in handy. But the illness wasn't life-threatening. That's true. That's true. Ha 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 ha. How do you gotta say about this, yeah, Bishop? You told me your son's illness was not life-threatening. I don't think that's very insensitive to ask then. Is there really a need to be so secretive about it? It was enough to keep him from living a normal life. That must have been difficult for your son. I tried everything I could to cure his illness. It wasn't fair for the poor boy. He could never taste the desserts he loved so much. How could he have loved them if he couldn't taste them? That's a little weird, ain't it? And now he's back to doing this. All right. Was he too fat? Ha! Oh, man. All right, kind of wanted to say that, but no. I only have so much time to work with here. The Angel's recipe contains a cure for a certain illness. A remedy that could also cure Mr. Master's taste disorder. Man, that's a strong-ass piece. He had it too? He had it too. I see. So your son suffers from a taste disorder. No! I didn't think you'd figure it out so quickly. In order to cure your son's taste disorder, you needed the recipe book. Wasn't that your true goal? It's as you say. Based on how he's acted up until now, it appears he is still hiding something. Looks like that clue will come in handy. Oh. Ah, didn't you also have the illness? Maybe it's genetic. By the power of my rook! Being unable to taste anything, regardless of what you eat. Such a bitter illness. That reminds me. Didn't you say something similar earlier? None of their entries had any flavor, so I didn't feel like eating any of it, wasn't it? Perhaps your son wasn't the only one who suffered from a taste disorder. It's hard to imagine being a successful pastry chef without a sense of taste, at least for the sugary kind. Perhaps what you really wanted was to cure yourself. That's completely ludicrous. 18 years ago, I made those desserts all by myself. We have long since proven that's not the case. No, you literally collaborated with Mr. Dover. Got you on that one, didn't I? Seems you've caught yourself in a contradiction. Didn't you cooperate with Isaac Dover in the contest? You could hardly say you made the desserts all by yourself. There it is! Gaga! You must take great pride in your abilities as a pastry chef. But to betray your pride and cooperate with another contestant. You did it all to cure your own disease. Well done, Sir Prosecutor. It's as you say. The one with the taste disorder is not my son. It is I. No one knew. I've kept it a secret for 18 years. It doesn't matter how long a secret is kept. If you lie before me, I will expose it. That much is oh so obvious. Dane Gustavia and Isaac Dover were both trying to obtain the recipe for the new medicines. Gustavia to cure his condition, and Dover most likely to sell the recipe book for money. He did need money. For this reason, they entered the contest as a collaborative effort. Smug, smug, smug. And with that, checkmate. Nice. I've never told this to anyone. Well done. As you say, I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago. Taste disorder? It was a severe disorder. I was unable to discern any flavor at all. It's the one illness a pastry chef dreads above all. Well, I mean, I guess I would assume, you know, with the exception of the life-threatening ones. Those symptoms sounded a bit different from Mr. Master's taste disorder. Mr. Master's condition is known as hypogeusia. It simply causes a decreased sensitivity to certain specific flavors. I'm sure it has caused Sir Master much pain, too. After all, no medication was available to cure it 18 years ago. In order to cure your taste disorder, you would need Mr. Master's angel recipe. And that's why you entered the contest, am I correct? That was one of my goals, but I still had my sights set on the title of World's Greatest. When it comes to making desserts, I won't lose to anyone. Even without the ability to taste, I still have the utmost confidence in my flavors. Oh, so I presume you also prepared your dessert in the finals with the intent to win. That goes without saying. According to what Mr. Shields told us earlier, the evaluation of Mr. Gustavia's entry was disgusting. Up until the semi-finals, Mr. Gustavia's flavors and design were to my liking. Unfortunately, both the taste and appearance of his finals entry left much to be desired. It seemed the dessert you made for the finals was not rated highly in regards to flavor. Mr. Gustavia, you will tell us about how you made your dessert during the finals. Very well. It seems I must teach you upstarts a lesson. Ah, poke him in the pride. Makes sense to me. Alright then. Sir Dover and I cooperated until the finals. I handled the flavor, he was in charge of the design. However, for the finals, I wanted to challenge Sir Master with my own skills. I helped Sir Dover make his entry, but I made mine completely on my own. If the flavor of my entry wasn't good enough, my own lack of training was to blame. How about that, Sir Prosecutor? This is the truth of 18 years ago. I can't find any contradictions in his testimony. I'm gonna have to press some stuff. Well, of course he isn't gonna fess up that easily. Come on now. This guy's been on the run for 18 years after all. Guess we'll just have to keep on pressing him until he breaks it. Yes. Alright then, press it down. Alright, Sir Dover and I cooperated until the finals. I handled the flavor, he was in charge of the design. Alright, don't think I need to press that. After the finals, I wanted to challenge Sir Master with my own skills. Alright, this one, maybe. Let's find out. So, you are really serious about the title of World's Greatest Pastry Chef? Yes. Confectionery is my life. Naturally, I wanted to be the world's greatest. But back then, I was still inexperienced, and I was no match for the better chef. But your goal was also to obtain the angel's recipe, right? Wouldn't the recipe book be worth more to you than the title? I will not stand by and watch you badger a convalescent man like this. Alright, that's a new word. My gavel shall protect you, Mr. Gustavia. I will apparently commit a battery. Ugh. I realize he's still recuperating. There he is. That's the word. Haha, I knew. But, Mr. Gustavia, oh, that must be what she meant. Do not yield to the devilish prosecutor. Now then, please continue with your testimony. Okay. I also never make his entry, but I made mine completely on my own. If the flavor of my entry wasn't good enough, my own lack of training was to blame. All right, let's press on that one then, maybe. Up until the finals, I heard that you received high praise for the flavor of your desserts. Was there some sort of accident during the finals? Nothing of the sort. I simply was unable to taste my work due to my taste disorder. My intuition must have been off. That's all. Then, was your intuition fine while making Mr. Dover's entry? How could there be such a huge difference between the finals and the previous day? That's a lot of dots. You're not getting anywhere at this rate. Should I change the topic? About the semifinals, about Mr. Dover, don't change the topic. Semifinals, yeah. Let's compare and contrast. So, you're sure there wasn't anything different between the semifinals and the finals? Yes, that's right. Aside from not cooperating with Sir Dover, the finals weren't much different from the semifinals. Hang on a second. I'm not sure if it'll say it on the thing, but always came to visit up until the final. Yeah. I was waiting for this photo to actually have a point. Damn. There was another difference between the semifinals and finals. This photo depicts your son. We know he came to visit you up until the finals. That is correct. What does that have to do with anything? Your son, who always came to see you through the semifinals, was not present for the finals. And then it was only in the finals that your flavor judged poorly. I don't believe this to be a mere coincidence. Oh, he had his son as a taste tester! Ha ha! Lock, shock, and barrel. Your son's visits must have been very important to you, were they not? Ha ha! A father can work miracles when his son is watching. With my son cheering me on, I was able to make the most delicious desserts. Mr. Gustavia sure sounds like a good father, doesn't he? If what he's saying is the whole truth, one could say so. But just hearing his son's cheers wouldn't be enough to change the taste of his desserts. A confectioner, confident in a sense of taste, develops a taste disorder. It would have been difficult for him to maintain the taste of his desserts. Your son came to cheer you on. Was that really all he did? You seem very doubtful, Sir Prosecutor. In that case, I'll turn this around and ask you. What else could my elementary school son have done besides cheer me on? He made your desserts. That'd be hilarious. No, I'm gonna go ahead and say he just ate them. He gonna tell you if it tasted good or not. I'm sure your elementary school son would have remembered the taste of your desserts. Of course! My son always loved my desserts. In that case, he would have been able to taste test your desserts in your place. What did you say? Earlier, you told us that you have a taste disorder. Ain't that interesting? I've never told this to anyone. Well done. As you say, I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago. That flashback was definitely necessary. Thank you for that. No one else knew about your taste disorder. If Mr. Dover had found out, he would have ended your partnership. After all, you were in charge of the flavor. And clamming up. Cool. Your son didn't just cheer you on. He also helped you determine if your desserts tasted correct. I see. Mr. Dover's dessert was made the day before, so it still tasted good. Uh-oh. You never want the culprit to be laughing. What you're saying is quite amusing, Sir Prosecutor. You say that my elementary school son assisted me as a taste tester? You are insulting my pride. Your pride? I am the prince of all pastry chefs. It's true, I have no sense of design 18 years ago, or I hadn't, sorry. However, I won't lose to anyone when it comes to flavor. Your claim I would cast aside my pride and rely on my own son? Don't get carried away with your foolish conjecture. You upstart. Upstart? In that case, I'm sure your son can confirm if my theory is mere conjecture. Unfortunately for you, I no longer have a son. What? After my taste disorder was cured, I went to train in Zhengfa immediately. During that time, I severed all ties with my son. So you didn't care about your kid at all? Holy crap, dude! What? Don't tell me. You would even abandon your own son? That's not all. Even today, the whereabouts of his son are still unknown. The police have been searching, but they haven't been able to find any traces of... That's actually very concerning. What the hell's up with that? You wish to confirm your theory? I welcome you to try. Desserts are the only things that are important to me. You're actually actively insane. Okay. After regaining my sense of taste, my son no longer mattered. Holy crap. Order in the court. Mr. Gustavia's actions are certainly inhumane. Well, I'm glad you could see that much. However, we are not here to judge whether or not he is a good father. Obviously, he is not. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I believe this is your loss. I'm not done yet! After all, there is no evidence left from 18 years ago that could prove your theories. Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do? At this rate, we'll never find out the truth. Detective Gumshoe, where are those results? Results? I wonder whose blood it could have been. Best for Agnes to look into it, sir. Oh, right. Right. I leave it to you, Detective. Hey, yo, Gumshoe, now would be a fantastic time for you to bust in all triumphantly and awesome. I trusted Detective Gumshoe with the last piece of evidence. If only I knew who that blood belonged to. Miles, there's still one thing that's bothering Uncle Ray. Is Mr. Gustavia's only reason for coming to the art gallery to check on the body? If he only wanted to confirm the body's presence, he wouldn't have needed to open the case. That's right. Is there a way we can prove this? Huh. There is one way. We just need that evidence from Detective Gumshoe. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what are you talking about? Mr. Edgeworth! Sorry to keep you waiting, sir! Gumshoe's actual superpower is showing up when he is needed most. He is the best. Just the person I was talking about.